and cause current and former players, coaches, fans, and partners of the NBA to question their very association with the league. To them, and pioneers of the game like Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, Sweetwater Clifton, the great Bill Russell, and particularly Magic Johnson, accordingly, effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling.
So, and then when you, clearly she's not remembering who they let out.
The WNBA is imploding, and it's all because of one shocking secret the league tried desperately to hide. For years, Brittney Griner dominated women's basketball, but now a trail of damning evidence suggests her entire career was built on a lie. From leaks medical records to her own shocking confession on camera, the proof is mounting that Griner is a biological male. As the WNBA scrambles to erase their biggest star, the scandal is only getting bigger, threatening to shatter the credibility of the entire sport.
It makes absolutely no sense for you to, on one hand, say you're standing up for women's rights and women's pay, and then on the other hand, saying it's criminal that a biological man plays in women's sports. As you are competing in women's sports and not the NBA.
See, Brittney Griner is a man. Well, come on now. This is another conspiracy situation, but you see this picture. No shirt. It's apparently an old photo.
Basketball. I have to be able to play, and to play at this level, you can't not go to the weight room.
If you've been following the women's game, or even as a...
For years, even as Brittney Griner was celebrated for her on-court dominance, a quiet but persistent whisper followed her everywhere she went. Fans, analysts, and even casual observers couldn't help but notice the obvious. Griner didn't just play differently, she was built differently. Standing at a towering 6'9" with broad, powerful shoulders and a frame that dwarfed her competitors, she possessed a physique rarely seen in women's sports. Then there was her voice, a deep, gruff baritone that sounded unmistakably masculine.
And I'm just ready to feed off her and just give all I can to the Phoenix Mercury.
A round of applause for my wife. Honestly, she had the hardest job.
You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
Bro, girl, your voice is super deep.
These weren't just unique traits. For many, they were glaring red flags. The league, however, chose to look the other way, promoting her as a trailblazer, while the questions from the public grew louder and more impossible to ignore. But that was all about to change.
In fact, Brittney Griner's 6'9" male-like physique gives her numerous unfair advantages in the WNBA. It has been reported that Griner was assigned female at birth but identifies as a male.
I saw this, but I didn't know if it was a meme, and because it looked like a dude.
She's definitely on test. How is that legal?
Yeah, she's definitely
not legal. Excuse me. How is that allowed in professional sports?
Yeah. Women's rights.
The internet has a way of unearthing secrets. And what came next transformed quiet speculation into a full-blown conspiracy. It started in the dark corners of Reddit with a single grainy screenshot. The image, allegedly a leaked copy of Griner's medical records, was blurry and of questionable origin.
Got my hand right here. Flat. Got my hand right here.
Women's rights to be a man.
Well, it seems like
that. She's a dude in the WNBA.
You can't do that.
Biological women's.
You're gonna have to drop the W out of the
league.
NBA and put, I don't know, A and all.
Just basketball.
At first, it was dismissed as an elaborate troll, a cheap fake designed to stir up controversy. But the image spread like wildfire. It was the first piece of so-called hard evidence, a digital breadcrumb that suggested the whispers weren't just baseless rumors. The seed of doubt had been planted. and it was about to be watered from a very unexpected source.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform.
You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
What? Excuse me? Come again?
If the public needed more reason to question Griner's identity, they didn't have to wait long. In a now infamous interview, a reporter attempted to congratulate Griner on her wife's pregnancy, cheerfully noting, "You're about to be a mom." The response was swift and sharp. Griner leaned into the microphone and corrected her with a single loaded word: pops. The reporter, caught completely off guard, stammered an apology. The moment was electric. Here was Griner, the face of the Women's National Basketball Association, publicly rejecting the label of mom in favor of pops, a term exclusively associated with fatherhood. It was a bizarre and telling exchange, one where she seemed to be openly aligning with a male identity while still playing in a women's league. And what happened next would come directly from Griner herself.
So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to take this down. Oftentimes, if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomies. And there are some great surgeons out there, don't get me wrong, but I don't see any scars
that not only caught my attention, it confused the hell out of me. And it made me wonder how Brittney Griner is still qualified to play pretend basketball in the WNBA.
Sometimes the truth slips out when you least expect it. In another on-camera interview while discussing her physical advantages on the court, Griner made a stunning admission. With a casual laugh, she said, "I'm a grown man." She repeated it for emphasis. Grown man. It was a Freudian slip of epic proportions. The mask didn't just slip, it fell off completely, live on camera for the entire world to see. The WNBA's public relations team must have gone into meltdown. For years, they had pushed the narrative that she was just a uniquely tall and strong woman. Yet, here was their star player on tape admitting the very thing the league had worked so hard to deny. It was a shocking, unguarded confession that confirmed what everyone with functioning eyes and ears already suspected. But the most damning validation was yet to come, and it would arrive from halfway across the world.
I actually felt bad for this poor woman. Clearly, production failed to prep her for this interview. She obviously went into this uninformed because this unknown reporter, she immediately violated the woke commandments while interviewing Bobby G. She violated commandment number 3, thou shalt not misgender.
Yeah, it's more
confusing.
So what I'm getting at is that she identifies as a pop.
As a pops, still goes by she, or at least so we know. So as far as they know, like as far as the rest of the reporters know, but does this change the WNBA status?
When Brittney Griner was detained in Russia on drug charges, the story dominated headlines, but the real bombshell wasn't her arrest. It was what allegedly happened inside the prison walls. Far from the politically correct culture of the American media, the Russian authorities reportedly took one look at Griner and saw a biological man. According to reports, when it was time to be placed in a holding cell, guards bypassed the female section and directed her toward a tank with 4 or 5 male detainees. There was no debate, no sensitivity training, just a cold, hard assessment based on biological reality. For critics, this was the ultimate proof. An entire foreign system, unbiased by the WNBA's narrative, had immediately clocked the truth. While the league was busy gaslighting its fans, Russia had exposed the entire farce.
So if you guys don't remember who Brittney Griner was, she went overseas in Russia, got caught up. They basically were like, yo, they found weed on her, and then they had to trade her for an arms dealer.
That was crazy.
And
like,
it really wasn't that edible. So first 4 or 5 days, I really didn't eat, honestly, anything. Weird stuff. He opened up the mail tank for me to go into. And the other guard was like, nah. Like,
what?
like no and close the door and then open up the other door for me to go in. I think he was being funny.
But if there was one piece of evidence that shattered all remaining doubt, it was the shirtless video. The clip, taken from Griner's own Instagram, showed her playing around topless. The footage was crystal clear, and what it revealed was damning. There were no feminine curves, no surgery scars, just the undeniable physique of a biological male. The most shocking part, however, wasn't the video itself, but the platform's reaction. Instagram's advanced AI is notoriously strict about flagging female nudity, yet Griner's topless video remained online for over 100 weeks without issue. The conclusion drawn by millions was chilling. The AI didn't flag the content because it analyzed the chest and identified it as male. This wasn't a grainy document or a slip of the tongue. This was raw, undeniable visual proof that the WNBA had been letting a man dominate a women's league for years.
Fight. Like, because I'm not going in that tank. I'm not going up in that tank.
And how many men were in that tank? If you
like 4 or 5 of them up in there. Yeah.
Referring to yourself as Pops means you want to be the father, which also means you want to be the male role model in the life of your child, which is great. Great. That's all good. All good.
The fallout has been catastrophic. With the truth now impossible to contain, the WNBA is reportedly in full-blown panic mode, desperately trying to scrub Griner's existence from its brand. They are caught in an impossible trap. Admitting the truth would mean confessing to one of the biggest frauds in sports history. It would mean that every point, every record, and every championship Griner won was a lie. It would also mean acknowledging that countless biological women were robbed of scholarships, roster spots, and opportunities to compete fairly. The league's silence is deafening, but their actions speak volumes. By quietly trying to memory hole their biggest star, they are offering a tacit admission of guilt. The jig is finally up.
And everything just, I'm bigger, I'm 6'8", a little bit stronger. I think everybody see I'm a little bit stronger. Grown man.
Beyond the fact that Brittney Griner sounds more masculine in her voice than almost any man that I know, short of James Earl Jones, she is the man. She is telling you that she is a man.
While the WNBA enforced its code of silence, the truth began to seep out from the most unexpected places, including mainstream media. On live TV, prominent sports analyst Stephen A. Smith appeared visibly flustered when discussing Griner, stumbling over his words in a way that viewers immediately flagged as odd. It was a subtle but powerful moment. He seemed to be catching himself, stopping short of saying what he really thought. To many, this wasn't just a simple mistake. It was a crack in the media's carefully constructed wall. It suggested that people at the highest levels of sports journalism knew the truth, but were under immense pressure not to speak it. When even the most confident voices in the industry can't keep the story straight, it's a sign that the official narrative is falling apart.
When I heard Brittney Griner say this, I immediately thought of the WNBA. I was confused. I'm also confused when it comes to proper pronouns. Clearly, I was not the only one. This poor woman from CBS doing the interview, she was confused as well. Which pronouns are we supposed to use going forward when describing Brittney Griner? Better yet, which league should she be playing in? Should Brittney Griner be playing in the WNBA, or should Bob Griner be playing in the NBA?
Beyond the evidence, the most infuriating part of this entire saga is the staggering hypocrisy. For her entire career, Griner was positioned as a champion for women, demanding respect and pay equity for female athletes. Yet, behind the scenes, she was correcting reporters to call her Pops and casually referring to herself as a grown man.
But if you're sitting here identifying as a man, and you're telling us that you want your child to call you Pops, which is a man, how can you play in the WNBA? Is it a stupid question that I'm asking? Because this is the topic that's gone around the entire country with
You can't have it both ways. You don't get to profit from the women's league branding, benefit from its platform, and then reject the very identity that qualifies you to be there. This wasn't a simple journey of self-discovery. Critics argue it was a calculated act of weaponizing an identity for fame and fortune, all while undermining the very foundation of women's sports. The double standard is breathtaking.
Because there's been a lot of speculation in the past regarding the gender of Brittney Griner. In the past, some have questioned whether Brittney Griner was born male and transitioned to female. When these allegations came up in past years, Brittney Griner, she has clearly stated she is a woman.
Behind all the headlines and controversies are the real unseen victims of this scandal, the biological women who were cheated. Think of the athletes who trained their entire lives, who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into basketball only to be pushed aside. How many talented women lost a roster spot, a scholarship, or a championship title to someone competing with the inherent biological advantages of a male physique? While the WNBA celebrated Griner's, quote, dominance, other women's dreams were being crushed. This isn't just about one player's identity, it's about the integrity of competition and the countless female athletes who were robbed of a fair chance to succeed in the sport they loved.
On this, and I'm just completely confused because I don't understand how you can be in the WNBA and sit here and tell people that you're a man. You'd probably be out of the WNBA and you wouldn't be able to play, and there's a lot of things that come from complications of surgeries like that.
Now the world is left to wonder, was this a calculated deception from the very beginning, a cynical ploy to boost ratings with a dominant player, regardless of the truth? Or was it a lie that simply spiraled so far out of control that the league, trapped by its own narrative, had no idea how to stop it? Either way, the damage is done. The credibility of the WNBA is in shambles, and every fan is left to question the very integrity of the game. The story of Brittney Griner is no longer about basketball. It's about a legacy built on a lie and a league that is now paying the ultimate price.